In today's video, we're going to go over some shading and highlighting advanced techniques that are going to be super easy to follow so you can get results like this. So after over a year of having this printed, I'm finally getting around to painting the Hulk versus Hulkbuster diorama from Wicked 3D. And this is a first in a series of tutorials that I'm going to be doing to show you different techniques and different things that you could do to help improve painting your models. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the video. Okay, so here we have Hulk that is all blocked out for the sake of time. I went ahead and I painted the solid colors on here. I used just my own combination of green that I mixed up in order to get the consistency that I wanted, which basically consisted of this Pro Acryl dark green here, this bright yellow green right here, and a little bit of bile here from Vallejo. And for the shorts, I just used a plum purple on there. So the one mistake that people use is the first thing that they do is they go in with a dark color in a lot of the line crevices and stuff here and start airbrushing, and that's basically it. I use a combination of colors in order to bring out contrast and bring out some high points and make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. And that's what we're going to do today. So for the first part, we're going to work on the green. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this camouflage olive green right here from Vallejo. And I'm going to go into a lot of the deeper spots right here. And I'm going to put in a wider stance of a line through here to make it a little bit darker all over. Oh, and one other thing I might add, once you get the solid color on here, seal it. Seal it with a clear coat, such as this right here. And you're going to do that for a reason. I'm going to show you something here, a little trick that's fairly neat to instantly bring out textures and dimension. But first, let's go ahead and start on that first part of the shading. And when you finish, it should look something similar to this. It does not have to be perfect. You don't have to go directly in the lines. I'm going to show you why here in a minute, but you should have just an overall little bit of darker color in there, in the lines and crevices, with just a little bit of that base coat sticking out here. Like even in the face right here, you can go a little bit dark all over if you want to, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and fold up a little paper towel like this, and I'm going to use water only. I'm just going to kind of wet it just a little bit. I don't have to saturate it or anything, just get it a little moist and a little damp. And then I'm going to take that paper towel and I'm going to go through some of these areas and I'm going to wipe this back off a little bit and let some of that stuff set in the textures into the pores. As you can see what it's doing, it's bringing out those high points. You don't have to rub really hard, just a little enough for that to come through. And you're going to want to do that on different parts of the body. Yeah, see those textures are really starting to come out there. And it doesn't matter if you get inside right there. You don't want to, you don't care about that. You're just wanting to get into some of these bumps here, and your paper towel may tear up on you. If it does, just get you another one. But you're gonna kind of go back through here, go against those areas right there, and see how that just sinks in right there. This is why it's important to seal your model. And then kind of go back through there just like I'm doing here. And see how like a lot of these high areas right here, you're hitting those and it's really starting to bring those textures out here. This is important on 1/6 scale and smaller statues because It really helps bring out those details. So we're going to go through here and do all these areas, like the arm right here and stuff. So as you can see here, it really makes this stand out pretty good. Gets really good into the cracks and crevices. It almost gives it the appearance of a wash. And you can do a whole wash on this, but keep in mind, if you do a wash over all of the high points, it will be a lot darker on those, and we don't want that. So we're gonna let this dry fully, kind of brush it off a little bit, but get some of the paper towel dust or whatever like that off of it. And then we're going to move to the next step. This is pre-shading. The next step we're going to do is we're going to move into highlighting. So make sure you take like a cosmetic brush and kind of go over your model. Get a lot of that paper towel dust off of here. These cosmetic brushes are wonderful in removing dust, like after you're sanding or you're doing something like this. And so the next thing we're going to do is some highlights. And for that, I'm going to use this bright yellow green here from Pro Acryl. So once you get done with that, you should have something similar to this. You have three different tones on here. You got your mid-tone that you started with. You have your shading right here, your pre-shading is what I like to call it. And then you have a little bit of highlights right in here, actually accentuating this right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this bile right here. This is like a little bit of a yellow to it. You got to use this very, very lightly, very, very little. And we're going to go into certain high points, such as the pectorals right here, the deltoids, and things like that, the traps and everything, even the knuckles here where light would probably perceive itself. And then we're going to just do very, very little highlights on this, and you're going to see how this thing is really, really going to pop. So the last thing I'm going to do, and it's optional if you want to do it or not, is I'm going to use this yellow green here to hit some of the peaks, just a little bit up on the top of these areas to make it just really stand out. And it's got a nice sheen on it right now because of that game color. But once we use our sealer on it, it's going to look amazing. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this black green right here to do some really deep shading. And for that, I'm only going to go in the areas like straight down the chest, around the pectorals, probably deep inside here where it looks like the cavity is really, really deep, and then maybe some around the arms. In order to do that accurately and what I want to accomplish, I'm actually going to take the tip of my airbrush off here. So I'm going to take this top right here off for exposing the needle. When you do that, it actually allows you to get a little closer to your project in order to get a little bit more finer lines. And that's what I'm wanting to accomplish here. I don't want a huge widespread area of it. Again, you can choose to do this with a pastel, or you can do, you can actually do a wash around that area. It's up to you. However, I'm gonna airbrush it. It's fairly simple. It's kind of hard to mess up unless you just totally go outside the lines, but we're just gonna do this as a touch-up. All right, so there you go. A little bit of deep shading in there. It really brings that out, a lot of that separation and stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the trousers here, the pants, whatever you want to call them. And then I'm going to do the teeth, do the mouth, the eyes, and the hair. And you'll see how this turns out once we put a sealer on it. I'll show you a before and an after. Okay everybody, I hope you got something out of this video. I hope this was easy enough for you to follow so you can go ahead and do some really cool shading and highlighting techniques on your next model. And I do want to give a shout out to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of the Patreon and get exclusive behind the scenes sort of stuff like this and a private Discord where you can talk all things printing and painting, the link is below in the description. And of course, you know the drill. Like and subscribe, write some comments, let me know what you think about the video. And as always, stay safe out there, get out and create something, print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next video, we'll see you. And now that we got Hulk done, it's time to start on this big monster. Whew. Stay tuned.